right. Hey! Welcome to Friday's installment of our Joy of Pancakes stream. My name is Dan. I am the Dan of Dan Cakes. I'm actually going to take this little chain off so it doesn't hit my mic. I'm the Dan of Dan Cakes. We're here in the Dan Cake studio. We're a professional pancake art company, and if you stumble upon this stream for the very first time, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you. I will be making some beautiful pancake art based on some suggestions from y'all in the chat. Speaking of which, I can see that we've already got some of our fans are dropping in there. We got a bunch of folks over on YouTube. Hi Maya, hi Misty, Becca, Crazy Gal 17. Welcome to the Joy of Pancake stream. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming to be a part of this with me. Just to give you a heads up, this may be a bit of a shorter stream. We're still tinkering with times and stuff like that. To make up for it, later this evening, Ben, our other artist and our tech guy, the guy that helped me set up the whole stream chat and everything, Ben's actually going to be trying a later stream of his own to do pancake art, much like we do on the Joy of Pancakes, and he's probably going to be starting that around 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is where we are based in St. Louis. So that's about, what, 6 hours from now? So wherever you happen to be in the world, 6 hours from now. Is that right? Is it 1? Yes, it's 1. 6 hours from now, Ben will be hopping out and turning the stream on and doing some pancake art. And we're going to try some different time slots and see, we're just kind of experimenting, seeing what kind of audience response we can get. Because a lot of times, the people that watch your stream has a lot to do with how many people tune in at the start of it and so on and so forth. And we're still working out all the kinks, right? We're still like playing with things every single day that we come in here and do this, tweaking things bit by bit, piece at a time, changing the format, changing the pancakes we make, changing the way we interact with everything. And I feel like if we keep doing this long enough, eventually we'll get real good at streaming and we'll have a good intuitive idea of when the best times to stream are. And be able to connect with y'all. So, in front of me, I have a pancake art griddle. This is actually the Dan Cakes pancake art griddle. You can buy this on our website, dancakes.com, if you want to get your hands on the equipment. I'm not going to spend too much time selling it, though. And all the bottles you see here in front of me, I'm not sure if it's a little, got a bunch of colors over here. Here, let me move them into the shots on the side here so you can see all these different colors I'm going to be using. My palette's a little bit different from my normal one for Joy of Pancakes. It's not that different, but yesterday I was making some very specific commission pancakes, and so I have a lot of strange, like I've got like there's a lot of greens and like some off grays and gray browns and stuff. So I'm thinking earthy things, something earthy, something like Gaia, like the planet Earth, or plants, trees. I think those sorts of things are what my palette today is really going to lend itself well to. Trees and water. I've got a lot of blues and greens, lots of cool colors today. So let me take a look at this chat here. It looks like we've got a lot of folks interacting, which is really cool. Let me make sure I don't miss any comments here. Ida Solberg on YouTube. Hello. Joe Paragoy. Ava Sickle. I'm not sure what that is, but welcome to the chat, Joe. Katie Forbes. Tia's back watching tonight. Hey, Tia. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Stellar Sea Lion. You should make a massive cheese ball pancake because I'm eating cheese balls right now. That's a very compelling suggestion. Spyro. Crazy Gal 17 says, feel like making a Spyro pancake. I think Spyro might actually be a pretty good idea. That's classic. A Hufflepuff logo. Baby Yoda. Dryad. There you go, Becca. You know what I like to hear. A eucalyptus tree, a river nymph, a tree in the form of a girl, Mother Earth. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Those are, I'm vibing with that. We could do a eucalyptus dryad. Let me take a look here. I'm gonna look up a couple of reference images here, right? I've got my cell phone, and let me see. What does a eucalyptus tree look like? I know what eucalyptus is, but I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, they're rainbow. There's rainbow eucalyptus trees. Wow. What? I had no idea. Wow. Okay, this is going to be a really interesting piece then. Neat. I've got some ideas. Let me pull up another let's see, Dryad. Yeah. It's about what I expected. And I'm going to look up River Nymph. We got some really interesting things. Javon Clark, hello. Katie Corbs, Tia says cat theme. A fairy. Sarah Redford says a fairy. Well, you know, dryads and nymphs are arguably in the same family of mythical creatures as fairies. They are sort of fae folk, right? They're the embodiment of rivers and streams and trees and the elements. Okay. Yeah, if you look up river nymph, you get a lot of naked women. So, bonsai tree in a cool shape. That's a good request too. I like all of these. These are all really great suggestions. Andy Warhol SpongeBob, just like SpongeBob over and over again. Right on. I'm gonna go with the river nymph fae kind of. I'm gonna set these green colors and stuff aside. And I think Maya earlier asked how long I was gonna stream. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna feel it out. I'm trying not to stream too long, because I don't want to bleed into too far into Ben's time, and I want there to be a decent enough gap between those two streams. So probably at least an hour. Probably not much longer than that. But okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this image, and I'm going to base a lot of what I do on this. This is there a way that I can find the artist? I'll look the artist up shortly. At some point in the future, I would kind of like to get to a point where we can like preload the images on the stream and shout out artists if we're using references and that sort of thing. But so eucalyptus, I was really interested to see that eucalyptus has a rainbow pattern underneath it. That was pretty interesting. Shirley Barber has some beautiful illustrations of fairies for inspiration. Has Discord been launched? The Discord, I think, is the moderator Discord is. I think at the end of this stream, I'll be able to message you with a link to that, Maya. I haven't really been paying too much attention on that front because of, you know, me and my distracted brain, but yes, I think we can make that happen. Rugrats. That's a classic one. There's some really good requests in there. I think I might end up doing a Spyro on this stream as well. But here, first thing I need to do is I need to zoom in on this image because faces are important. And there's a very feminine affect to these faces that you want to try and capture. The lashes and the brows, you know. But I'm also going to try and make this very small. Start on the overhead there. So again, for those of you joining for the first time, all the stuff I'm going to be drawing with is pancake batter. And we have added gel colors to it. You'll occasionally see me turn my griddle on, like I just did there. Turning the griddle on serves the purpose of allowing those first lines I draw to solidify. I'm not sure, maybe if I do this super zoom, you might be able to see what I'm talking about here. These two little black lines right there that I'm going to start as her eyebrows, like very, very small details. They're not so shiny right now because I turned the griddle on for a short moment, which makes them a little bit easier to work with as far as details are concerned. So I can actually take these Q-tips and sort of sculpt those into the exact shape I want. Like if I think they're a little bit too heavy, which I do, I think they're a bit too heavy. I want them to be strong, but not extremely heavy eyebrows. Because the batter is a little bit more solidified, I'm actually able to go in with the Q-tip and poke it into place without it bleeding everywhere. So Tia's really excited about what the result will look like. Yeah, me too. I think this is going to be a really pretty one. I'm excited to you'll see that I get my face real close in here. I'm excited to see what I can pull off. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It might be easier. It's probably a lot easier for me to see what I just did than it is for y'all to see, just because the lighting is favorable to me. It reflects off the batter in such a way that I can see the details a little bit better. But it took a long time to get good at looking at dark details on a dark griddle. Dan, have you been camping ever? Can you share your experience? Yes, I have been camping. I have been camping several times. It's one of my favorite things to do is go camping. There's a lot of really beautiful places here in the United States. Lots of gorgeous wilderness and lots of national parks. Yellowstone. I went to Yellowstone, very famous national park, with my wife a couple of years back. And we spent 2 weeks there. Yellowstone's really, really cool because it's covered in like geothermal features, and so like the park itself is constantly in a state of flux, like it's changing all the time, because there's so much underground, so many qualities of the earth around there that are actually in the process of changing and evolving. And so it's really, really interesting. There's a lot of like really beautiful hikes and water features and waterfalls and rivers and stuff around there. You can also, if you go out at night, you can brave the cold, because it gets really cold up in the mountains there, and see some of the most beautiful and crisp stars I've ever seen. And I'm a big fan of looking up into the sky and seeing all those stars. It's very surreal, especially, you know, the city life that I'm used to, like living in the city and not being able to look up into the sky and see much most times. You know, you can see a couple stars at night, but to look up and see the whole galaxy, it's wild. John Schlepp asks, have you ever tried using a syringe for fine details? I have tried using a syringe, and what I've found is it's very difficult to control. Because you know, my impulse would be that, oh, it's a very fine tip, so you'd be able to make very fine details, but the problem isn't the tip, the problem is the plunger. It's very awkward to try and plunge something perfectly. And another problem that syringes have is that the plunger is designed not to move itself with suction, whereas a squeeze bottle, when I squeeze to release batter, I can release that suction, I can release that pressure to create suction and draw batter back into the bottle, which makes it a lot easier to stop a line once you've started a line. So yeah, I've experimented. In fact, my first impulse when I first got into doing pancake art was to try a syringe kind of method, and it just didn't work very well. I tried a turkey baster as well. Again, didn't work super well. But that's how you learn, right? I'm using brown outlines here to sort of embody the wood of this figure. And I think it's okay for me to be a little bit sketchier here. You see how I'm kind of going back and forth, and my lines might not be quite as straight and narrow as they could be. I think that's going to be okay. I think it's okay that I'm doing that, because it's the, you know, this is a being that is embedded within or is a tree. And trees have bark, trees have texture. They're very organic entities. The human form, like getting the proportions on a body right, is very, very important. I don't actually like that line very much. Something about her face isn't sitting right. Facial features are such an important thing. I liked the features I drew. I just don't like the outline of her face. Something about it looks not quite as graceful and serene as the reference image I'm using. So let me erase some of that and see if I can improve it somehow. That's better. Oh, cheekbones there. More earthy when the lines aren't perfect. Yes. Sky Kid, behalf of Dan, can I ask you a question? Which space do you like more, forest, beach, or hills, and why? That's a great question. It's hard to pick. Hard to pick between forest, beach, and hills. I would say the hills, mountain. There's something about being able to climb up something and get a gorgeous view. And I love the forest. And I love, like, I go hiking sometimes. It's really fantastic and beautiful. Seeing just the places where nature has just followed its own path, you know, just done its own thing without regard for the affairs of humanity. I think that's really cool, but the mountain air and like the physical exercise of hiking up a hill, I think that's really excuse me. Crazy gal, it's 5 a.m. for you. Wow. It's neat. All the way from Australia. Thanks for dropping into the stream. Cassie, I see your comment. Hi, Dan. Can you make Annabelle, please? I will take that under advisement. I think that would probably be a good one. Very timely, right? Annabelle's a horror, the doll, right, from the horror movies. So that's very spooky season. So it's interesting the way they illustrated this. They sort of goes into the roots down here. Lots of bark lines, lots of texture. Very gnarled, you know? This is going to be an interesting piece. Rosie Jones, first time watching. Is the griddle on low all the time? Yeah, usually. What you'll sometimes see me do while I'm drawing is you'll sometimes see me reach over here, grab my temperature gauge, and turn it up to about 150 degrees for just like 10 or 15 seconds. And when I do that, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make these fine, shiny lines here. I'm trying to make those set. So I don't really want to cook them through. I just want them to sort of solidify, so that they're a little bit more, I have a little bit more control over how they blend, how they layer, all that kind of thing. So let me go back to the overhead here. Some other comments I want to get. Xavier Crane, I'm not super big on city life. Yeah, city life is all right. I enjoy, well, when we're not in a pandemic, I enjoy being able to like go to coffee shops and see random people at bars and stuff like that. But I'm definitely more of a quiet outdoor person. Like I have this fantasy in my head that one day I'll be able to just sit on a porch and not hear any cars. I've lived in big cities and tiny cities, says Becca, but I'm living in an in-between city right now and I like it best. I still have my Wi-Fi and cell service, but there are nature trails all around me. You know, technology is such that you can get Wi-Fi and cell service if you have enough money anywhere. Crazy Gal, how long did it take you to find the perfect consistency of pancake batter to pancake mix to draw with? A couple years of experimenting. It's a bit like it's about the consistency of ketchup is what we usually tell people. So, you know, and I don't really measure it perfectly every time either. I kind of eyeball it at this point, but yeah, it took a while. Nicole Stevens, make Billie Eilish, please. We actually, Dana made a Billie Eilish very recently. We're preserving it. I think it's posted on our TikTok and our Instagram if you want to check it out. We have made Billie Eilish. I'm going to go back to the overhead here and continue this nymph illustration, dryad. You know what I really like? I think this piece has a... Let me zoom out a little bit. So I like how the shape of this tree is very... This is going to be a big piece. This is not going to be one of my normal Joy of Pancakes size pieces. Normally I try and keep them, you can see the pieces behind me. I try to keep them about pancake sized. But these ones are going to end up, this is probably going to end up being like pretty large. But that's okay. I think if it's a really beautiful piece, somebody might actually want to buy it, you know? Might find a nice home. Or it might end up on my wall at home. 'Tis art, yes? Yeah, if you find that you like any of the work that I'm doing here, or any of the work that you've seen on previous streams, the vast majority of it is available for purchase. And if you're interested in supporting me and the work I do, and all of us here at Pancakes, we all share ownership of the business. So anytime the company makes money, we no individual artist is really taking the lion's share of that. So you're supporting all of us in all of our endeavors. We are going to be launching a Patreon here soon. We haven't fully launched it yet because we're still building it and making sure that our promotional material is all in order, but that's another way that you can support us. And I think the best way to support us right now is share the stream with your friends. In fact, if you feel like doing it right now, that would be awesome, just to have, you know, get a couple more people in here watching. And hire us. If you feel like having somebody make you some beautiful pancake art, keep us in mind. Let folks know about our work and let folks know about our services and the fact that we can make one-of-a-kind pancake pieces and preserve them for walls. And, you know, I tend to let fate do the rest. Misty, Dan are preserving the yesterday's big one too. That was awesome. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the AOC? Let's see. Sky Kid's going AFK. Jace. Hey, Jace, how are you, man? Long time no see, my friend. I'm gonna have to tell all the other folks that you dropped into the chat. Are you still working with the old Butch boy? Let's see. Wish I had money to donate to y'all because I really like supporting artists, but you know, college ain't nice on one. Hey Xavier, don't worry about it. It's in fact, I would actually stress to you that one of the things that is most valuable to us, by far, even more than like giving us money, I mean, unless you wanted to give us a bunch of money, is just telling others about it, right? Like the sort of the idea of ambassadorship, of spreading the word, because we live in an attention economy, right? And nowadays there's so many people making so much content, and the fact that we have as many people watching the stream now, we got 37 people watching across all platforms. It's an enormous blessing. Even with our giant social media following, it doesn't mean nearly as much these days. And I've found that the most valuable form of support is people telling other people about us. Telling people that they had a good interaction, or sharing the stream, saying, hey, check it out, look at this guy's making stuff, or telling folks about what we're trying to do and all that stuff, just because your word in your circle of friends is infinitely more valuable than me trying to advertise to them. So yeah, if you feel like you want to support us in a meaningful way, just tell folks. Just tell folks about it, and you will have done more than enough. Much more than enough. That in and of itself, people that are willing to like spread the word for us, makes my day, man. So yeah, don't worry about it. I think everybody's money is a little tight right now because the world's all weird and everything's imbalanced. Personally, I think most of the things that we're all being drained by should be free, but they ain't, and so it goes. Can't really change it on my own. All right, so I'm gonna have to use a lot of colors on this. 1 second, what color is it? Yeah, eucalyptus trees' leaves are green, so I'm going the right direction here. Like this isn't bad. Okay. Let's see. Have you ever made pancake art of a pancake? Yes, Jace. I actually did that 2 streams ago. There was an artist on Twitter I really like named Yorigami, and I made a beautiful, as realistic as I could make it, stack of pancakes. John Schlepp already looking great. Wish I didn't have to go to sleep for work right now. Well, I wish that too, but we'll be posting the photos and roundups of everything later too, so you'll be able to see it. It's kind of crazy gal. Wouldn't that just be a pancake then? It would be a pancake of a pancake. I've done this many times before. Who is me? Tia wants to know how the pancakes don't go bad when they're on the wall. Well, Tia, that's a wonderful question. The trick is that we extract the moisture from them with a freeze dryer. So we literally freeze dry these pancakes. I don't know if you've ever had like freeze dried ice cream or anything like that. It's an interesting process. It uses a vacuum seal and very, very cold temperatures to take all the water out of the pancake. So it just becomes very dry, very brittle. And after that, we coat them with a couple of layers of what's called Mod Podge, or like craft glue. And after that, we build these wooden frames and sink the pancakes into tabletop resin. So it's almost kind of like a glass. Just trying to outline this figure here. And once they're sunk into that resin, that's really, that's all it takes. At that point, they're effectively preserved for all time, at least as far as we know. I've got one on my wall that I've had for about 2 years now, and it still looks about as good as it did when we put it in. So, as far as we know, that is the way that works. Anime STL? That is Jeremy. Jeremy is Anime STL. Well, Jeremy is he runs Anime STL here in St. Louis. It's a yearly convention for anime fans. It's a fantastic event. I'm very impressed with Jeremy's abilities. David S. Pumpkins, its own thing. I loved seeing that frozen pancake video you guys just posted that showed how you make the frame with the pancake on the resin. Yes. Actually had a lot of people comment, a lot of friends and stuff reached out to me just to say, yeah, they were really stoked to see Hank doing more of his own sort of, like, that was all him. That was his initiative. Nobody was like, you should make one. He just made it. He just made a TikTok of him putting that together and being silly. And I'm glad he's doing more of that. I'm glad that Hank's been really enjoying playing with the TikTok tools, because he doesn't really do the pancake art so much. But he's a very creative guy, right? Like, he's a very creative and interesting, and he has a lot to offer. It's just being able to have the tools that make it easy for him to do things in the middle of all the other awesome things he does, because he builds the frames, because he built the studio we're in, where he basically built the thing with his bare hands. You know, we helped here and there, but it's really definitely been a lot of his prerogative going on here. Trying to draw these little leaves. This is going to take me a while. We might want to get some, looks like there's some flowers in this reference. I'm not going to worry too much about being perfectly accurate as far as what a eucalyptus tree actually looks like. This is kind of giving me Eurydice vibes. If anybody here is familiar with the video game Hades, there's a character. She's Orpheus's muse, and she is a dryad, and so she's got, her hair is like this big old tree afro. It's very beautiful. Make sure that I can continue to make out actual form. I'm using these white lines here just to make sure I can still tell what is and is not human here. Xavier, you rock! Thank you so much for doing that. Greatly appreciate that. Crazy gal, eucalyptus trees are mostly brown in Australia, but it seems like there's a species that grows in the northern hemisphere that changes colors when the bark falls off. Yeah, as soon as I Googled it, that's what I saw. And I was like, whoa, that's gorgeous. It was really, really cool. And I thought, yeah, I mean, I got all these colors, I may as well take advantage of that, right? Let's see. We got some gold. This will be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Bright colors. Probably gonna need some white. I always find that white is a nice touch, just because it tends to add that contrast. Okay. Xavier, you rock. Misty, Dan, what are the things that inspire you the most? Video games, probably. Creatively, video games. Like, and not just video games in general, but there are some very, very, very beautiful games out there. I think video games are it's a dream of mine that you know, I'll tell folks sometimes that like pancake art was never really my goal in life, not even a little bit. It was never something I really grew up wanting to do. Like, I like drawing. I love drawing, you know, and I like the idea of like putting out comic books and stuff like that. But making a video game is that's something that's like a huge thing on my bucket list. And I have a lot of anxiety and ADD and all these sorts of things that have, you know, I don't want to lean too hard on blaming these things for why I have never taught myself to code. But coding there's a level of tedium and overwhelm. It's very, very difficult, I find, to teach myself coding, especially when I don't have like a group of other people that I can turn to and ask, you know. The fact that I'm not like involved in a video game studio already kind of keeps that whole world at arm's length for me. But yes, I have a deep, deep passion for game design of all kinds, and I really, really want to break into that world at some point in my life. I have so many ideas. And I mean, I kind of, you know, I designed a board game because it's something I didn't need to know how to program to do so. And I'm very, very proud of the board game I designed. In fact, it's like I'm very excited. Well, I almost said something. I can't really say it yet. I can't say it until November 8th. On November 8th, I can actually tell y'all what I was just alluding to. But there's a very cool thing that happened for me in the board game world. And for me, that's in my long-term goal for my life. That board game is kind of the starting point. It's the starting point for my long-term passion of getting into game design properly, because I figure if you can create a brand, if you can create a successful brand, and if you can get a little bit of money, everything in this world runs on money. So if you can create a product that gets a little bit of money, then you might be able to put together a team of people that could help you actually make a video game, like a proper video game. Because and that's the thing, if you don't know how to do it yourself, which I don't know how to program myself, and I don't really have the time or psychological profile to teach myself. Like I have to stream these Pancake art things, I got to run Pancakes, and I got to be honest with myself. One of the things I've learned over the years is it's very important to learn your limitations as a creator and learn how to reach out to people who are better at things than you and collaborate with them rather than trying to be good at everything all the time. And so my long-term plan is that. Are you looking forward to the new games and stories at the PS5 and Xbox Series X? Honestly, I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to what's going on with the new systems, the new consoles, because I don't really care that much about them. Not in the sense that, like, I own a PlayStation 4. And I do really love a lot of the games that I've played on PlayStation 4. But I've found that lots of the games that I'm really, really enamored with, I don't need to pay any attention to the news to see them, because a lot of times what they are is they're indie games that go viral. Like in the last few years, the games that I loved the most were things like Untitled Goose Game. I've been talking a lot about Hades. I've been playing a lot of Hades lately. Among Us. And none of these are particularly high-profile games. They are, there wasn't a whole lot. I didn't find out about them because of their press. I found out about them because of the community they managed to create through the act of making a game people enjoy playing. And so that, I find, is a pretty good metric for whether or not a game will be worth it for me to purchase. Because I think a lot of, there was a time in my life where I was really, really into a lot of the games that came out, but it's just started because the industry is so successful financially. There's a lot of people that have gotten into it that don't care. They're not there to make a good game. They're not there to challenge anybody, and they're not there to push the limits of game design or try anything new. They're there to make a buck. And so what they do is they look at the games that are successful and try to copy them. And instead of taking the risk of investing their time and energy in something that might not pay off, they go with the safe thing, and then you end up with a bunch of games that are very, very similar to one another. Like everything's a first-person shooter. Everything's an open-world sandbox. Everything's, like all the AAA games look the same. And that part of the reason they do is because they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on making the game look good. But that doesn't do anything as far as, like, the game is concerned. Like, what is a game? A game isn't graphics. Graphics are the pretty paper you put on the game to sell it. But a game is, like, a system. It's a mechanical system that you encourage people to experience. It can unlock creativity, it can tell a story, it can do all kinds of different things. But yeah, when you have your games designed by focus groups and boardrooms, you just get the same thing over and over and over again. And so I got to a point where I just stopped caring what was new. And I figure, if something's really good, if it speaks to people, if it challenges people, if it changes the way people think about gaming, it'll make its way to my Twitter feed one way or another. Somebody will text me about it. Somebody will reach out to me and say, hey, Dan, have you checked this out? Hey, do you want to play this with us? And then in the meantime, I just focus on my own thing. That's kind of a spiel there. Looks like we have some more folks here. Coding is very much a chore when you don't have a vested interest in it. I also have ADHD, so I totally get it. Says Crazy Gal 17. No offense, says Xavier, but I don't think Pancake art is anyone's dream job at first. Such a specific niche, you gotta get into it. I guess it's a lot like animal specialists. Yes, I stumbled into this completely. Very, very surreal sort of life path, as it were. Some zoos, there's a dedicated job just picking up penguins who fall over and have trouble getting up. It's wild and sounds awesome, but no one immediately thinks of it as a career. That being said, y'all are amazing for producing pancake art one artist to another. I could never make it like y'all did. You probably could if you practiced as long and as hard as we have on it. You know, if the universe decided to make you a pancake artist, you'd probably get pretty good at it. I got one of those pancake pan like you have, says Natalia. Do you have the Pancakes griddle? Becca, that sounds amazing, Dan. I'm excited for the upcoming announcements for Anthromancer. I'm really excited to tell you. I think that's why I've been enjoying playing some older games at the moment. So good at that. I 100% agree. Graphics are wonderful, but I really only care about graphics for 2 seconds. Ultimately, a good, well-developed game. And Crazy Girl says that in Spider-Man PS4. I'm so glad I picked it up. Spider-Man PS4, I played that for a little while, and it lost my interest. And I felt bad that it lost my interest because I saw everybody posting about it, and that's part of the reason I picked it up, is because everybody was super excited about it, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I thought, yeah, this will be fun. And I guess, I don't know if I got overwhelmed, but it just didn't snag me. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 did a very similar thing where I was really, really looking forward to it, and it's this really, like, amazingly well-made game. It's beautiful, the graphics are next level, the story is, like, top of the line, they took it very seriously, all these things. But then when I actually get into it and play it, I find that certain considerations, it's like it slipped under the radar, kind of. Like, I think I spent more time with Red Dead, so I have more of a well-thought-out critique of it. And there's also a YouTuber I really like named Nakey Jakey who did an hour-long video about his critique of Red Dead, which I felt was pretty valid. I agreed with a lot of what he said. But basically, I mean, the big thing for me with Red Dead was just they focused so much on realism that if I wanted to do a mission, right, if I wanted to follow the story and progress the story and go and do a mission in an evening, I could maybe do one, because the horse rides were so long, the map was so big, and you had to ride for so long. And I don't think that by itself is a problem in game design. It's more that if it changes the experience, right? It changes the experience. Because if you want to watch a movie, if you want to watch a film, then you just kind of hop on, press play, and watch. And you know what movies do? They edit out all the parts where you're riding a horse across the countryside. Riding the horse across the countryside can be really cool in a virtual world the first time you do it, because it takes your breath away, and it does, and they really handle the beginning of that game really well, and I think that's a big part of the reason I played it so much longer. But the 17th time you do it, when you just want to go finish this mission so you can get the next bit of storyline and the next bit of dialogue, you're just kind of like, okay, I get it. I'm a cowboy. I have things I have to do with my life, and I don't have time to invest in this every time I turn this game on to get to a point where I actually finish the story. And it was just taking me so long that I never finished it. And when I saw Nakey Jakey's analysis video of it, he kind of went in depth talking about how the issue in his mind with Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't so much that, like, it's not that it was a bad game at all. It's not a bad game. It was that it didn't quite, like, mechanically, it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, are you a movie? Are you a sim? Are you simulating the feeling of being a cowboy? Or are you trying to tell a very specific story? Are you an open world, free range game where creativity is rewarded, or are you a railroad where you have to go and do specific things to unlock specific parts of the story? None of those are right or wrong. It's just when you have too many things being attempted simultaneously, the game itself, I think, suffers. The experience as a player ends up suffering a little bit. And I think at the end of the day, the most important thing for a game developer to keep in mind is that this is a game, somebody's going to play it. What is the actual act of playing this game going to feel like when you play the whole thing? And I know there's people that really love Red Dead Redemption, and I'm not trying to like crap on it or on Spider-Man or anything for that matter. It's more like my preferences, my game playing preferences have changed as I've gotten older, and I've noticed it. Tia wants to know if you play Minecraft. I have played Minecraft a little bit before. I will say about Minecraft, it's like the opposite of my problem with well, with Minecraft, I think the thing that doesn't catch me about that is because there's not enough structure. There's not enough structure in Minecraft for me to really enjoy myself that much. And I think partially because I think a lot of that it has nothing to do with Minecraft itself. It has a lot more to do with the fact that, you know, I have obligations. I'm an adult with life obligations, and so it's hard for me to find the time to lose myself in a pointlessly creative task like Minecraft. Like, I'm not unlocking story. I'm not. Well, and I have friends and stuff who play Minecraft. I have friends who play it. They actually have this really elaborate, and they do these crazy things, and they role play with it and have all kinds of fun. But the time investment, for me anyway, is a bit too much to really, really get into it like that. My wife plays Minecraft. She also plays, there's a game called Stardew Valley that she really, really enjoys. Which is another one that I've never really, like, I've sort of watched from the sidelines. But it's the sort of game that, like, actually, I mean, Stardew Valley I could totally see myself getting lost in. I think part of the reason I haven't played it is because I could totally see myself getting lost in it, you know? Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. All these blues, and I should probably get some more gold in there. Oh, I've already got gold. The gold is fine. We're good. I'm really interested to see how this turns out. Going for that eucalyptus vibe. Wow, this is going to be interesting. I'm really curious. While this cooks, I'm going to try and catch up on the chat, because I know I've been kind of going off, and I can see that comments are coming in, but I can't see them from the griddle. I should get like a chat bar like right here on the front of the griddle, so I can read it without having to look away from my work. Okay. I kind of want to give her a background. Let's see. Nothing too fancy, just something to sort of widen it out and make it a little bit more of an interesting piece. Let's see if I can come up with something nice. Some nice grass down here. Conzi, I'm glad that you like refrigerators. Sun and Moon, I'm making a dryad, a eucalyptus dryad here. This is pretty interesting. Hey, we actually, this is the first time I've seen the stream increase in viewers. Maybe it's because I asked y'all to share. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to have to do that more often. Call to action. I'm so bad at that stuff, at call to action type stuff. Like, subscribe, follow me on Patreon, all that stuff. Because I guess there's this really obnoxious, stubborn part of me that always says, oh, you know, if people want to do that, they'll do that. And if you've done your job, if you've made good content, then you won't need to say anything. And I'm like, well, yeah, but studies show that if I do say stuff, it works better. So maybe I should do that. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out the stream. We're making a dryad right now, a eucalyptus dryad. I took a reference and kind of put my own spin on it. And I'm trying to come up with a background here that doesn't... something that works. For those of you that do not watch pancake art or haven't seen it before, it might be a little hard to see what's going on here just because I've covered most of the main design up, so you can't see her face and all that kind of thing, but that's part of the pancake art process. I'm going to have to flip this whole thing over in a moment, and that's when it will reveal. I'm doing some very strange loose cross-hatching here, sort of. Just to sort of add some texture to that rock. Nice, weird, earthy rock colors. Try and outline her whole body in white, except for that part that's up and up against that rock there. That's okay. This is a bigger piece. Strange one. I'll probably do one more piece after this, just so. And for those of you that are curious, when I do these pieces, I often try to take some requests from the chat. This was a prompt from the chat. Like I make some sort of suggestions and just see what people think. And we had a couple folks talking about fairies and dryads, and the color palette I have happens to lend itself really well to greenery and earthen tones, and so I was kind of leaning towards that. And so far, I'm really happy with this piece. I think it's going to be really cool and interesting. It's going to be big, but and part of the reason I want to draw this really interesting, beautiful background as well is that it's going to be big, and I need to have a little bit more support. I think maybe do some sort of Bob Ross style tree, right? Maybe not quite as detailed as her, but something earthen. I'm gonna kind of switch my style here on the background to sort of a lineless, so I'm not going to use like a thick black line for the outline of this. I'm just going to try and use different tones as sort of a shading. Very lush. My hope is, because I took the time to outline her in white, that the overall, I should use some of this really rich dark red on her body, but it's too late for that, so oh well. I always say mistakes are delicious. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the way that these colors are sort of blending together like that, with these sort of loose shapes. Like, I think that'll have a really nice effect. Be very strange looking. And let's see. Let's have some fun with it. Let's do some. I'll make this tree in the background a little bit like more of a fall bush, just to create some really bright contrast with her, because she's very blue, very light, very colorful. Maybe this tree in the background will be more, using lots more warm colors and reds. We'll see how that goes, yeah? Kyria McDaniel. This makes me feel like I'm going to fall asleep in a relaxing, therapeutic way. I'm really glad that it's having that effect. That is definitely something I'm trying to go for. You know, there's a lot of like really, really high energy video game streams and stuff out there. I'm trying to sort of cultivate this pancake art safe space. Just throwing this idea out for the next pancake. Succulent garden. Lots of green succulents. I like that. Get out of here, bomber. A succulent garden. I like that. Annabelle's a good idea. That was suggested a little earlier. I think a Halloween pancake is well warranted. So I might end up going with that. I need to set some of these lines. And we're gonna do some, basically what I'm doing here is I'm gonna kind of create some cloud forms just to build it out, just to really finish out the body of this design. And then I'll see if I can pull off like a really nice gradient in the background. Let's see. This is a very peculiar piece. Got my bright orange here. I'll use some reds. Yeah. Period, I hope so. I hope it's insane. I hope it's a really beautiful piece. It's one of the bigger ones I've done so far on the entire stream. I don't usually make them this big. And remember how small her face was when I started this? Like, that's one of those things I try and emphasize when I'm teaching people pancake art for the first time is the size of those first details is really important. It's something to really pay attention to because I made her face extremely tiny. But because I wanted to draw her whole body, it really, you know, I've almost filled the griddle, like. So we're gonna do a little bit more green, a little bit more brown down here, the roots, the dirt. A lot of, you can get a little wiggly with your line work. Once you've already put down some really definite images. Do some blue for some grasses. Why not, right? Nature's got a lot of color in it. Don't always make the most sense. Just kind of a mess of color down there. And just gonna build this up. Just this messy build up here. The thing is, because I took the time to do all the white line work, sort of layered up into the the background, everything's been picked out in white, so we should be okay as far as still being able to see the shapes. And this will be really colorful and interesting, you know, just kind of like a mess. Just having fun with it. Not really sure how what I'm doing here is going to look, but I do have a good feeling about it. I'm just kind of grabbing colors as I go, thinking, oh, that would be a nice gradient into that. We'll go into some red from there. It's kind of we'll do a little pink to sort of bridge that. Some pink. It's gonna be messy, but you know what? That's okay. Red. We're gonna do some darker red. We'll do some purple. And some blue. And we'll use a couple of blues, and we'll have some blue coming out over here. Got a couple other blues up here. Just having some fun with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty excited about this one. I'll be totally real with y'all. And the next thing I'm going to do, this is fun. This is weird as heck. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to outline this mess of batter I've put down on the griddle with white, just to sort of delineate the final edge of the piece. I like the white outline because it really makes the colors pop. Okay. Now would be a good time to invite people to the stream if y'all feel like it. I don't know, there's some crazy things about to happen. Because I have no idea how this is going to look, but I will admit that I have a pretty good feeling about it. This is fun. This is the joy of pancakes right here. So I got my griddle turned on. Most of the drawing process, I have it nearly off. Once I'm done, I will try and cook it at about between 200 and 250 degrees. So that, I try not to cook it any hotter than I absolutely have to, because no matter what color pancake batter you put down, it all has a tendency to turn the same shade of brown if it overcooks. So as beautiful as this piece is, inevitably I will probably lose some, like the back of the pancake will these colors will probably be a little darker on the other side. If I cook it too long, they'll be a lot darker, and it's possible that I can lose them entirely if I cook it too hot, but I've been doing this a while, so hopefully that won't happen. If it does, well, that'll be humiliating. Put me in my place, I suppose, but doesn't happen very often for me. The biggest issue I have with that is batter consistency, because the consistency of the batter can change how dark it cooks. I'm excited to... Dana is our artist, who is she is obsessed with color specialties, and I really love the color work she puts in her pancakes, and I'm excited to send this pancake to her and see what she thinks. Maybe I'll do that on the stream so y'all can see her response. Right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of latticing a sort of a batter scaffold across the back. Like, I'm not trying to cover the whole thing necessarily, but I am just trying to like give it a little bit more body, a little bit more firmness and stability, so that when I go to flip it, it'll work. Let's see. All right. So, there we go, it's on the wide. So this pancake's about to flip. This was taken from a request in the chat. So, real quick, I think I have an idea of the one I'm going to do next, and that'll probably be my last pancake for the stream. Maybe, I think Annabelle was a sensible request for this time of year. So I like to try and do a spooky request every stream if I can. So we'll try and knock that out, but if you have any other suggestions, feel free to send them. If I really love one, I might do a third pancake. Like I was saying, I have a lot of yellows, I have a lot of greens. I have a lot of green colors today, so greens and blues are anything that would look really good with those, you think. Which is why we did the dryad, because it's sort of plant and fantasy. And that's making you hungry, crazy gal. Otherwise, I think this is almost ready. I can tell because the pancake batter on the back is starting to look less shiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spatula, take the flat edge of it, and I'm going to do what's called carving, where I gently work my way around the outside edge of the design. I'm not pushing. Well, I mean, very, very, very gently pushing. One of the things I always try to emphasize to folks is that the pancake will let you know when it's ready to flip. So you shouldn't need to force it. You should be able to just kind of get underneath it. Also, there's a lot of flaking happening there, and I don't like that. I wish I knew why that happened. I really think it might have to do with the batter consistency. It can really disrupt the texture of the finished product. But at this point, there may not be anything I can do about it. So I'm just going to kind of keep working my way around the outside edge, doing my best. It's not flaking so much here at the bottom. I wonder why that is. Maybe because the batter's been sitting for longer? I wonder. Maybe if I let that sit for a little bit longer, it'll be okay. Gotta wait for the pancake to cook. But yes, if this does turn out beautifully and you're interested in purchasing it, you send an email to hank@dancakes.com as soon as you can. We can probably work something out with you as far as pricing and everything. We preserve these and mount them on the wall like so. All these pieces behind me are pieces that I've made on the Joy of Pancakes, other streams. So over time, this might end up hanging in that corner right there. We sold one of those pieces yesterday, which is really exciting. And we also do private commissions and birthday parties and events and all that stuff. So check it out. We're gonna go go to the overhead here. I think I might be able to get away with this now. It's still flaking, which is not ideal. I don't like that. Ugh. I wish it wasn't doing that. You know what? Can't let it sit too much longer. Or else it's gonna get too dark. And all those beautiful colors are going to blend into one another really unfortunately. Well, yeah. The trick is to carve underneath the entire piece and then flip it. So you gotta like release it from the griddle because it's stuck. If I tried to flip it all at once right now, it would probably get damaged. I want the whole thing to move. It just did. So we're gonna go to the overhead. How do I want to do this? I'm gonna come at it at an angle because I want to try and have as little of the pancake hanging off the spatula as I can. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. What do you think, y'all? I think it's pretty cool. Pretty happy with how the leaves ended up looking. Okay, I'm gonna keep the camera on right there. I'll be right back. I have to go grab a tray from the other room because that's gonna be a bit too big to fit on a plate. All right. Got some wax paper. Neat. Thanks, everybody. Oh, Matthew Jameson. Haven't seen you. Is that might be the guy? No, wait, different Matthew. Good night, Katie. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for all these comments, everybody. Tell Leah that I said thank you. Or unless Leah, thank you, Leah. Or Tia. Jeez, sorry. Tia, thank you so much. I'm glad y'all watched. I hope y'all get some good sleep. Whoa. Whoop. Okay. There we go. So yeah, that'll go in the freeze dryer, and then we'll have a frame built around it, and boom, we'll have a preserved pancake of that. Neat. Thanks, John. Get some rest, my friend. Okay. Annabelle. Annabelle. Let's see. The doll. Let's see if I can find a creepy doll. Hope y'all like creepy pancakes, because we're gonna make a creepy pancake real quick. Let me show your mom your artwork and it goes in the fridge. Just, Let me send that photo to Dana real quick while the griddle. I'm gonna need the griddle to cool down just a little bit. If I try and do pancakes too quickly back to back, what happens is that the heat from the last pancake, because this is hot enough to burn me still. What it does is it makes those lines, those really fine, like if I put a little fine line like that on a griddle that's too hot, it cooks it really quickly, and then those lines have a tendency to, they peel. So like if I put the line on this is the griddle, this is the line. I put it there, if it cooks, it'll start to peel, and then the corners of it curl up. And so what happens is if I fill in pancake batter around it and behind it, when I flip that over, the corners of those lines are hidden in any other fill, and so you lose your line work. It covers up your line work. So it's important that in between pancakes, I let my griddle cool down. I don't have to let it cool down all the way, but just most of the way. As y'all know, I like to draw with a little bit of heat, but not much. So let me send this to Dana real quick. See what she says. Curious what she says. Baba Yaga in a house in the forest. That's a good one. Crazy gal. Enjoy your breakfast. That sounds fantastic. Breakfast and sleep. Ah, you have that classic backward sleep schedule. I know that well. Thanks for hanging out. Rosie Jones, your calm demeanor reminds me of Bob Ross. Your art's amazing. Thanks for your explanations about the process. Of course. I'm doing my best to... I really, I respect Bob Ross a lot. This is why we call the stream The Joy of Pancakes. That's a really great compliment. I appreciate that a lot. I think Bob Ross did really beautiful stuff. And I think more than anything, he was a natural teacher and a very encouraging and nurturing personality, and so I kind of aspire to have that kind of vibe. When we started Joy of Pancakes, it was actually a show more modeled off of Bob Ross's work. We did like a couple episodes on YouTube where it was like straight up a 22-minute long just video, edited video, but it wasn't getting great response because all the algorithms are different now. So we kind of changed to this live stream format, and honestly, I'm having a lot more fun because I get to see your comments as you come in. We get to hang out. You guys are giving me inspiration. You're like, do this, do that. Here's these suggestions, and yeah, it feels like a natural sort of evolution given the way technology has changed since Bob Ross did his show to do it more live like this. So I'm really glad that we stuck with it and are figuring things out. But I appreciate your compliment a lot. Thanks for saying that. All right. So you'll see that I always like to start with the eyes when I draw things. And one of the other things I didn't really mention on this stream, I don't always mention it, if you ever try pancake art on your own, squeeze control. And when I say squeeze control, what I mean is these plastic bottles that I draw with, we call them batter pens. You squeeze a little bit of air out. You'll always see that I have a little bit of suction, like I have a little bit of squeeze on every bottle as I draw, because squeeze that air out and flip it upside down, that suction is what lets me start or stop a line. Like if I'm drawing and I want to stop drawing, I can just release the pressure and I can do dashes and stuff because you can almost see that my thumb is kind of pulsing there, right? Because I'm releasing that pressure, releasing that suction. That's one of the main keys to being able to draw what you want to draw with pancake batter. Squeeze control. Took me a while to get used to it, to get good at it, but once you do, it's second nature. I don't even think about it anymore. But I always try to remind other people that are watching that that's the key, because a lot of times when people try for the first time, they just grab the bottle lightly and squeeze when it's upside down, and batter just pours out and they can't stop it. So We were up to 60, 70 it looked like, and right now we're at 47, Maya, according to Restream anyway, which isn't always accurate, but still, it's higher than usual. I'm not sure how much of that is because it's Friday or because we started an hour earlier or what, but I'm happy about it. It's cool to see that number go up over time. I think part of it is also asking folks to share and stuff, so I'll probably make more of a be more mindful about doing that in the future, because I think that works a lot. People are more likely to listen to their friends. Creepy eyes. Gotta get those eyes just right. There's a particular insanity in Annabelle's eyes, very unsettling. And a lot of that has to do with the placement of the pupils. I'll see if I can point this out. The pupils in her eyes don't touch like you can see the whites all around the pupils. That's one of those things that really makes somebody's eyes look wide and uncanny. So I want to make sure that those are not only that they're not touching, but also that they're centered relative to each other so that they don't look goofy or cartoonish or like she's confused or something. Something about this is off. Why is this off? Maybe it's that. That's better, I think. Maybe. Something's still off. What's the deal? What's the deal with airline food? I'm having so much trouble with your freaking eyeballs. Sculpt that into shape. A little bit better. Robert the Doll is much more spoopy. Sky Kid, who is Robert the Doll? I'm not quite sure who that is. OG Doll is creepier. This looks creepy. We're gonna make her self-conscious. She's gonna be self-conscious about how not creepy she is. Okay, we're gonna do getting those eye details, different colored shines in there. Got a darker gray, good. Here's a little dot of blue. And then we'll use dark gray. A voodoo doll given to Eugene from previous maidservant was inspired to create Chucky the doll. Neat. So that's like an IRL thing, like a real thing? Very cool. Let's see here. Creepy. What don't I like about that? It's pretty close, but... J. Lee Jenkins. Oh, look, looks like we have a couple of comments I'm missing here. Ekta Acharya, I'm sorry, did you reply? Do you teach any online class? Yes, we do classes all the time. In fact, that's kind of been one of our main sources of income since the pandemic hit, because we can't do parties and special events anymore. So it's all got to be digital. But we do all kinds of classes. And if you're interested in taking part in one or booking a private one, then you can reach out to hank@dancakes.com. We can figure it out. You can also check out dancakes.com for all other information related to that stuff. Django Nindels. Nindels or Nindeus? You got an L or an I. I look nice. I have a 3D pancake printer. I am a 3D pancake printer. B-Rush, hey yo. Have you ever heard about, Misty says, have you ever heard about the place Graveyard of Dolls or Doll Island where various dolls are hung? Yes, I've heard of it. I've seen the video of it. It's very, very creepy. B-Rush. What's up, B-Rush? I can totally shout you out. There you go, my friend. You exist. You are seen. What's up, B-Rush? Django Nindos. You know the island. Okay, cool. Caught up on the comments. I just want to make sure I try and respond to everybody. Sometimes I get sucked into my pancake art. I mean, I know that's the point of the stream. But, you know, if you leave me a comment, I want to try and make sure I see it. That way people will continue to leave comments. Okay. All right, Annabelle, you creepy ass doll. I feel like this pancake's gonna eat me. A lot of very stark shadows on her face here. Try and get the main shapes of her hair, and then I'll go back and add texture lines. I think Hank's really into movies, and he's really into horror movies and stuff, so I think he'll probably appreciate that I'm making this. This is a good request. A good suggestion, I should say. Nice, spoopy Annabelle pancake art. Dan, what is your scariest or creepiest experience? That is a great question. Creepiest experience. Trying to think. You have a knack for asking me questions that make me think hard, Misty. Scariest or creepiest experience? I'm trying to think to times where I've thought I was gonna die or something like that. You know, times I've been genuinely afraid for my life. And I haven't had too much of that. I've been very blessed, I suppose, in that regard, not to have too much terror in my life. I've had some, like every now and then I'll have like a really bad dream experience. I've talked a little bit about it before. I was in Monterey, California, doing an event for some very, very wealthy people. And they had put me up in a hotel, giving me access to a really lovely room in a hotel. And I had spent the night there, and then the next morning I was supposed to make pancake art for the attendees of this big crazy event. And, you know, it's run-of-the-mill, normal shit. Things I do all the time. And for whatever reason, that night I had some of the creepiest sleep paralysis of my life. And for those of you that don't know what sleep paralysis feels like, generally you wake up and can't move, and a lot of times it's accompanied by a sense that there's an entity there, something there that wants to hurt you. And I had that really, really intensely. But I also I've read enough about sleep paralysis that I understood that's what was happening. You know, I could tell that's what was being done to my brain in real time. And I remember I was trying to wake myself up super hard. And I ended up, like, my ability to move my body came back all at once. And I burst out of bed at this weird angle, and I cracked my head on the end table so hard that I thought I was going to die. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, jeez, I don't want to go back to bed because, you know, maybe I'll have a concussion and I'll die for real. But I was exhausted, so I fell asleep anyway, and I didn't die, so cool. That's what came to mind when you asked me that, Misty. Trying to get the bizarre shading on this face right. It's really intense. Very stark. There's not a lot of, like, smoothness between the lights and the darks. It's very much extremely light highs, extremely dark lows. The top of your head there, girl. Okay. Let's see. It's gonna be creepy as hell, y'all. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do a little bit of, a couple of yellow highlights just because the lighting in the room that she's sitting in kind of lends itself that. It's not perfect. It's not exactly a yellow highlight, but it's okay if it's a little off. Sort of that gives it that slight strawberry blondish sheen. She's got really dark brown hair though, so maybe that's not right. We'll see. Not a big deal either way. Creepy, dirty dress. Old. Very interesting colors we have at our disposal today. I like them a lot. Okay. Y'all still with me? Y'all still watching? Y'all still having a good time? Enjoying the process? Check something here. Cool. Still got folks watching. Glad to hear it. Can y'all still hear me? Okay, cool. My mic's still working. Just checking. Just checking. I don't have my my headphone monitors on, so every now and then I gotta make sure that the chat's working, and because we've had problems in the past with like Facebook will just boot us off for some reason. Just want to make sure that everything was cool. All right, Annabelle. Creepy ass doll. Basically gonna try to highlight her hair and then do the rest of it very, very dark brown. Should probably use some black in there, honestly. I mean, I've already got some black going. A little bit more wouldn't hurt. Okay. I'm gonna have to refill these for a bit. Or maybe I'll just mix him some batter. Ask him to mix his favorite colors, because I'm not sure what he's going to want to do. I know he likes to do grayscale or sorry, sort of a Pantone vibe. Let's see. Let's give her a nice outline. These colors. Where's my goal? Just feels appropriate. All right. Hey, Becca. Thanks for the period. Cool. I was just making sure the chat was working. This pancake is cooking through. An Annabelle pancake. All right. YouTube chat isn't being displayed on the restream chat. Oh, geez. How annoying. It's funny because that's the one that's all, we got 38 people watching on YouTube right now, so let me pull up Pancakes. I appreciate you doing that, Becca. YouTube chat's not showing up on Restream. We got 37 people watching, which is cool.
Yeah, it's got 3 out of 4 on there. The little RSS icon over there.
Yeah. Okay. Ben's gonna tinker with it. I mean, this is my last pancake, so yeah, if you can figure out what happened, that's great. But and remember, y'all, check out at 7 p.m. because Ben's gonna be doing pancake art of his own. Weird. Well, I'm sorry for all the folks on YouTube whose comments I can't see right now. If you can just, for a temporary fix, if you could just like reduce or minimize the window and put it up there. Is that possible? Just so.
Yeah, I can pull up.
So I can dignify folks. Danielle says dolls are really creepy. Just something with that blank stare that bugs me. Yeah, man. It's the classic uncanny valley. Rosie Jones, amazing you can draw backwards and get layers of colors. Nice work. Thank you so much. I will say that is a bit of a misconception as far as quote-unquote drawing backwards. I actually, most things, I will either mirror my reference image or I won't worry about it at all. Like most things are fairly symmetrical, so you can get away with drawing it either direction. If I do text, I have to write it backwards. So. But still, more often than not, I actually mirror the reference image I'm using. So I'm still not, I used to, when I first started, I would try and flip things in my head. And it was really, really hard to do well and put a lot of strain on my brain. And putting strain on your brain while you're trying to draw something is you learn real quick that it makes for less good art. Are you able to go to the overhead real quick, Ben? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Annabelle. Wow, that's the creepiest pancake I've ever made. That is disconcerting. Disconcerting, sorry.
Why not both?
Why not both? I am disconcerted. Creepy as hell. It's like a reaction image. What do y'all think? You like that? The neat. Awesome. Well, Annabelle pancake art. So we got 2 pieces here. So I'm going to move the griddle as I usually do. Like I said, this is going to be my last pancake for the stream. I'm going to go to the wide. Hey, y'all. Yeah, let me take this apart. And I'll put these bottles in the fridge, mix a little bit of extra batter so Ben can mix any other colors he wants. And here are the 2 pieces that I made today. Annabelle and a eucalyptus dryad. That one was fun. I really enjoyed that a lot. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Really cool. We got according to Restream, we got 60 people watching. And that's really it's fantastic. It makes me really happy. Looking forward to continuing to do these streams. We try to do them 3 times a week, at least, not including our Sunday request live stream. So when I say that, the Sunday request live stream is where if you have something really specific you want, your face, your dog, your class photo, your business logo, all that stuff, Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, you can drop in and have either me, Dana, or Ben, whoever happens to be working the griddle, make those designs for you, send them straight to our phones. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we do Joy of Pancakes. And we're kind of fiddling with the time slot. It's either 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Last few, we moved it back to 1 p.m. so that some of our fans in India and Australia and those places can catch us at a more convenient time for them. Which is really fantastic. I appreciate you all hanging out and watching. These pieces will end up we're going to preserve both of them, and you'll be able to get them on our website. If you really want one of these specific pieces, you want to speak for it first, please shoot an email to Hank, Hank, @dancakes.com, and we'll arrange that and make sure that it goes to you first. But otherwise, it'll just be on our website, and you'll be able to in a couple of days or weeks, you'll be able to just purchase it there. And if you have any commissions you want us to make, you want us to make a pancake of a portrait of your own face or something like that, reach out to us. We can work all that stuff out with you. We do video commissions for brands, all that kind of stuff. We also do classes and live and digital events. The live events, not so much lately, but the digital events, we've really been having fun with this live stream setup and really working on it. And so it would be fantastic to have more of that stuff to look forward to, more events, more classes, teaching more people how to do this. Any of that stuff you're interested in, we'd love to be a part of it. We'd love for you to reach out and work with us. And otherwise, the main thing, if you want to support us, we got a Patreon coming soon. But otherwise, the best way to help is to just spread the word. Let people know what we're doing. Let people know when they can catch us and hang out with us and interact in the chat. So, thank you so much to everybody. We've got a lot of regulars here. A lot of the Pancakes fam, mad lads, who have been hanging out. Maya, Misty, Sky Kid, Jeremy. Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat, helping out. Really appreciate all that stuff. And thank you so much to everybody that's been watching. LTD Dutch on Twitch. I want to acknowledge that I see your comment. I appreciate that. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to cut to the overhead here, and let's zoom way in on those. And then I'll go over there and I will cut the stream. What if I just... Oh, right, yeah. Actually, Ben is going to be streaming in a couple of hours. It's really anticlimactic. Ben is going to be streaming at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time and doing his own. I have no idea what he's going to do, but I'm going to save these colors for him and leave it to him. So please check it out. We're going to see what doing the time slots does to our viewing and figure it out. Anyway, I love you all very much. I'll stop terrifying you with Annabelle. And remember, mistakes are delicious. We'll see you around. They can still hear my audio.